meeting on Monday, April 6th, 7 p.m. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Roll call, John Goldsberry here. Eileen Farmer.
Here.
Jennifer Rich.
Here.
Zach Tischendorf. Here. And Jonathan Kincaid is absent tonight.
So we have meeting minutes from our regular monthly meeting on March 2nd, 2026. So I make a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. March minutes are approved.
And then I also make a motion to approve the minutes from our special meeting on March 2nd at 5 p.m. So I make a motion to approve those.
And I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes for the special meeting in March.
Alright, so I'll jump into my report. Upcoming events, I do have a typo. That's supposed to be the Mental Health Matters Awareness Walk, and that'll be on Saturday, April 25th, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. They'll have, I believe, I can't remember, it's maybe like a quarter-mile walk. They just do a loop through the park, and then they'll have food and music, and then they'll be have some booths there passing out information. And then one other event that'll be in May will be Danielle's Dash, and I believe, let me get my date right. That will be on Friday, May 8th. I believe registration usually starts at 5:30 or 6, and then the run, I think, starts at 7:30, I can't remember exactly. As far as park projects go, we actually just finished up installing the water fountain today at the park. So glad to have that done.
We
Saw
tested
the
it out.
picture of it.
We tested it out.
Oh, did you? Is it
Yeah.
awesome?
Sure.
Yeah, looks good.
Corinne was like, the lady was walking by with her dog, and she's like, "Look, there's a dog station." And the lady was pretty excited about it, but she was like, "She'll only drink from a bowl, but that's really cool." I was like,
Well, I did notice when I was operating it that like the dog bowl in the bag, I think they have that drain adjusted to where it drains down slower than the other ones do.
"Oh,
So you can kind of fill the bowl and then it gives the dog time to
Gotcha.
drink.
yeah." I mean, it looks pretty cool.
Neat.
I was just in the pressures. We first got it hooked up and I was pushing on the buttons and it was shooting a stream of water like 6 feet in the air. I was like, okay, I better adjust the button.
It was pretty wet around the bottom, but I was like, I bet that's just from people messing with it. So I don't know if
Yeah.
it's leaking or anything.
Keep an eye on it. It
Yeah.
may be the drain needs to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, spring sports have started off. Soccer, I think, played their first games last week, and then baseball starts next week, and softball will follow the week after. At the community center, they're still underway in the foyer restrooms. They did get the wall torn out, and they're just working on some plumbing and electrical right now, and then they'll go back in, finishing the drywall out, and getting the flooring done. The community center sign, we're still exploring some other options. Kind of got put on the back burner here this last month as we got started mowing. Jesse's been busy with the Easter and some other things going on.
Whatever happened with that? They just never got back?
Yeah, it's probably 3 or 4 months in a row. I called and left messages with the secretary, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'll get with Tony." Like, kept calling, never got any response.
Weren't we talking about that like December 24 or something?
Yeah, well, so like last summer,
been a while.
they were trying to finish like final design, and they because like I know even
Are you
on,
calling like an office or a person?
we were talking to the secretary there, or the clerical staff.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah.
So nobody's even answering the phone at their office?
Well, no, it was an actual person, but like, she's like, I'll get with Tony and he'll give you a call. And like, never got a call, never got an email,
That's weird.
so
I wonder if she's still there.
possibly, I don't know. But Jesse started looking into some other kind of, he's deciding it blew off on the community center, we did get that fixed. And then, we also rerouted, a gutter and a downspout. One thing we are gonna have to do, once the weather kind of straightens out, we did notice that a lot of those downspout pipes that go underground are plugged up from just the asphalt kind of breaking down and coming off the shingles for years. So I'm hoping to, once we kind of get a rhythm here, be able to rent like kind of like a sewer camera basically, and be able to snake it and see where the blockages are, maybe get a jetter, or even just be able to dig down if it's just a couple isolated places and cut the pipe out and put new pipe in. We have kind of noticed that in places where the water is building up and then freezing and thawing over the winter, that it's kind of chipping away the brick in some places. So we want to try to get that addressed as soon as we can.
When was that building built?
78.
So it's probably all original too.
Yeah, yeah, and at the time, I guess they didn't have any smooth wall corrugated pipe, so like those little ribs just trap stuff and it builds up. Whereas with smooth wall pipe, as long as you don't have any settling and you can maintain a little bit of a grade, stuff should flow out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
40 years of build-up-ish,
Yeah, pretty much.
more than that.
Almost 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost 50.
So, but yeah, that's kind of where that is. The next big thing, so we do have the grip strips at the park for the bridges, and we're hoping to get a volunteer day and get that knocked out in 4 or 5 hours. And then, last Monday, Jesse and I went down to the county park board meeting and, just presented our proposal, for grant funding. We did request 5,000, I'm not sure if we'll get the full amount, but they seemed pretty receptive to the idea, so.
Okay.
Once we get that, then we can look at getting the strips for the trails, so. So yeah, I mean, that's, pretty much all I have. I don't know if anybody else has anything.
How's our memberships, dailies, all that stuff look compared to usual?
Pretty consistent. I was really surprised, actually. We probably, I guess this month we'll kind of find out for sure, but it seems like we're holding pretty steady at 90 to 100 adult members and about 20 seniors and youth, which at least on the adult side is definitely up. I think traditionally we would peak at about 80 people and then we'd probably drop off to like 50 through the summer. But it seems like now that we've added some more equipment, kind of reorganized some things, it seems like people that are more, what the right word is, dedicated, I guess, or regulars are keeping up and using the weight room and using the cardio equipment throughout the year, so.
Good.
Yeah, usually, nothing but positive comments, so it's been good. So, yeah.
What's the update on the BOT, the bot? Got a note here. Where did we leave off and what's next on that?
So last month, after we had the special meeting, I just kind of mentioned it at the meeting that basically they would need to pass a resolution. And talking with Kevin Patmore, he was going to draft a for them to look over this month at this April meeting. And they did approve the final engineering for the first phase. So, yeah, things are looking up there. I feel pretty confident that they'll pass the resolution to be able to use, I think that the terminology, the exact terminology is private, public-private partnership, which basically in Indiana code, when you go through that statute, it basically defines public-private partnership yeah, I feel pretty good about that. I think definitely the playground, we can use that procurement method, and then I've kind of heard some rumblings, and Clint seems to think the same as well, that even on the community crossings, the state may be revisiting and for where we can use bond instead
Well,
of
that'd be nice.
traditional design bid build, so,
That'd be nice.
yeah.
Did you talk with, Russ about that idea, or has anybody ran that by him yet?
Yes, we did discuss it, and he felt like it wouldn't be any issue. They were able to get caught up quite a bit last year. There was some extra money, and then he had some extra money in MVH, I think, or LRS, I can't remember which, but they actually, had gotten rid of pretty much all of their problem streets, especially in Holiday Village. So he felt pretty confident that, you know, if we were to apply for that this year, and maybe even next year, it wouldn't be any issue. So, and then one other update, I don't remember if we talked about this last month or not, but, we did meet with, Mike Johannes, Russ, and then Jane and myself went down and met them, at the remaining 50 acres that the town owns behind Kimball. And, basically there's another county road to the south of Maddox Industrial Contracting. I think it's called Bow Road. But basically, the idea is we would bring in access to a potential mountain bike park on that road. And then we would have to do a little bit of adjusting of the original proposal. We could still fit all the features, we may just have to shave a little bit off of